Now at 5 and streaming on CrossroadsToday.com, this man is in the Victoria County Jail on 4 charges, including theft of a firearm. And Border Patrol has announced a new plan to fight illegal crossings and migrant smuggling. Plus, the overnight storms last night into this morning brought heavy flooding to the southeast, including Texas.
Well, the storms are gone and the sunshine is here. Next few days are going to be very pleasant. We'll be talking about that and taking a look at all the activity that occurred last night. All that coming up.
Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas delivered his testimony to lawmakers seeking to remove him from office. You're watching 25 News Now at 5. Good afternoon and thanks for being with us. I'm Karina Garcia. The body of a 58-year-old woman from Port Lavaca was recovered Tuesday from the ship channel in Port Aransas. Police say Liana Cohen was driving a vehicle with a 54-year-old man in the passenger seat. Authorities got a call for a reckless driver around 8:25 Monday night. When police arrived, they determined the vehicle went into the water. That vehicle was then recovered Tuesday morning at 9:15 a.m. and pulled from the water around 1 p.m. It was 28 feet below surface. Back in Victoria, authorities arrested an 18-year-old suspect Tuesday. Zachary Gonzalez faces 4 charges, including theft, firearm, engaging in organized criminal activity, and unlawful carrying of a weapon. Gonzalez is also a suspect in a shooting in Bloomington from last fall. He remains in the Victoria County Jail in lieu of a $35,000 bond. Authorities arrested and indicted Beeville Mayor Brian Watson last week. Watson is indicted on charges of misuse of official information. The 34-year-old from Beeville was recently named Chief Public Defender for the 4-county district, which includes Victoria, Lavaca, Jackson, and Refugio counties. His starting date is still set for April 22nd. 25 News Now has learned Watson's yearly salary was set at $160,000. That's bearing any changes recommended by the Oversight Board of the Crossroads Public Defender Officer. That board is currently meeting right now. Jeff Bucknight and AJ Louderback stopped in Goliad Tuesday evening to discuss their upcoming race for District 30. 25 News Now reporter Adarius McCormick continues to follow the candidates in this race. Now, Adarius, what's the latest with District 30?
The race started with 4 candidates. Now District 30 is down to Jeff Bucknight and AJ Louderback. In Goliad, the two discussed several topics from Republican values to their opinions of the Biden administration. Jeff Bucknight and AJ Louderback agreed a strong Republican stance is needed for this position. They discussed their political experiences and their plans if elected. We spoke with each of the candidates back in February. Bucknight said despite what others say, he is a strong Republican, while Louderback said he's no stranger in the House, so he'll make swift changes.
I just want people to realize that I am conservative, I'm Christian. I'm not going to wear it on my sleeve all the time, but that's the basis of my values and where I make my decisions.
However, neither of the two are strangers to politics. Louderback has extensive experience in law enforcement and endorsements from Attorney General Ken Paxton and former District 30 candidate Vanessa Hicks Callaway. Bucknight served as Victoria's mayor and city councilman with endorsements from Governor Greg Abbott and current District 30 Representative Jeannie Morrison. The two will go head-to-head for District 30 in the May 28th election. The winner will face the Democrat candidate Stephanie Basham in November. She was in the building and said she looks forward to November. Karina, back to you.
Adarius, thank you for that update. Now, VISD Superintendent Dr. Quentin Shepard discussed the state of the district this morning. Shepard says enrollment in the district's AP courses, dual enrollment in Victoria College, and industry certification programs are at the highest they've ever been. Last week, he announced he is leaving his position as superintendent. Shepard credits community support for the strides the district has made despite some challenges.
I came in right after Hurricane Harvey and watched a community pull itself together and tackle some very difficult decisions. And right as we were starting to get our feet under us and ready to hit the sprint line, we were hit with COVID. And I found a community that came back together and showed that same resilience that I saw when I first got here. And it is because of that resilience we've had the success that we've had, and it has truly been my honor.
Shepard has accepted the position as superintendent at Pflugerville ISD. Since then, VISD has started the process of searching for a new superintendent. Now, this photo was sent in by Kelly. She says heavy winds Monday night and early Tuesday knocked over this large tree in her backyard. She woke up Tuesday morning to find it in the roadway. Mac, are we in the clear, and was overnight as bad as we expected?
Well, you know, we were expecting it to be maybe slightly worse, but we were always preparing for the worst and hoping for the best. And I think that we did really well. I'll tell you why. We got a good solid inch of rain in most areas. We didn't get any of the hail. We certainly didn't get any of the flooding problems. And of course, now everything is long gone. We're looking at beautiful couple of days with low humidities and lots of sunshine. We'll be taking a wrap up of what happened last night in a few minutes, so stay tuned. We'll be right back with more. Karina, back to you.
Mac, thank you. Now, from Texas to Georgia, the southeast saw flash floods, fierce winds, baseball-sized hail, and tornadoes today. Kirbyville saw severe flooding this morning after the storm. Emergency crews responded to at least 10 water rescues. The Pine Oak Creek is now a major flood stage after rising 10 feet in 6 hours. In addition to this flooding, the storms also caused major damage to several businesses in that area. Now, over in Marble Falls near Austin, that city saw hail damage. Some of the hailstones were the size of softballs and tennis balls. Damage was reported across the area, including a smashed vehicle window and broken property. The Austin Fire Department also reported power lines were down during this storm. Now, in El Paso, the U.S. Border Patrol held a border safety event aimed to raise awareness on the dangers migrants face while attempting to illegally cross into the U.S. The state is now planning to prosecute migrant smugglers.
We'll be considering those cases that have been rejected for federal prosecution, but they may be viable for prosecution under state law.
Today, District Attorney Gerald Byers announced his office is partnering up with Border Patrol for the first time. The DA will prosecute smugglers who cross migrants into the country illegally. The state will bring on charges for cases that are not being prosecuted at the federal level. Byers says the partnership is to maintain public safety. He said cases involving stash houses will also be considered by his office. Byers also wants to minimize the involvement of minors when it comes to transportation of migrants, as we have seen is the case in some DPS pursuits here in the area.
It's possible that prosecuting offenders for violating state laws, which adversely impact public safety, may deter conduct that would violate state law.
Authorities say during the current fiscal year, Border Patrol has intercepted 136 stash houses with over 1,300 migrants inside. Now, the Homeland Security Secretary is talking budgets before the House today. Alejandro Mayorkas began his testimony by praising the work the Department of Homeland Security does to secure the border. He called on Congress to address the broken and outdated immigration system, he calls, and noted the team has worked with a bipartisan team of senators to pass a national security supplemental package. Mayorkas testified to a Republican-led House that impeached him by a single vote margin back in February.
Our immigration system, however, is fundamentally broken, including our asylum system that so significantly impacts the security of our borders and the processes we administer at it. Only Congress can fix our broken and outdated system, and only Congress can address our need for more Border Patrol agents, asylum officers and immigration judges, facilities, and technology.
House Speaker Mike Johnson will delay sending articles of impeachment to the Senate until next week. This comes after Senate Republicans personally urged him to give them more time to debate on this matter. Now, here are some of the top headlines you can read in the Port Lavaca Wave. Port Comfort is helping residents remove unwanted or unneeded items for their yearly community cleanup event until April 15th. Plus, the Harbor Children Alliance and Victims Center recognized Child Abuse Awareness and Prevention Month last Saturday with their annual Celebrate the Child picnic. You can read these stories and more at theportlavacawave.com. Now remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click that notification bell. For now, stay with us. 6 former officers in Mississippi have received their prison sentences. That's straight ahead on 25 News Now at 5. Also ahead, the NTSB provided updates following the deadly Baltimore bridge collapse. The 6 former Mississippi law enforcement officers known as the Goon Squad received prison sentences from state court today. Those sentences range from 15 to 45 years. Last month, the 5 former deputies from the Rankin County Sheriff's Office and 1 from the Richland Police Department received federal sentences ranging from 10 to 40 years. These sentences are connected to a January 2023 incident where the officers tortured and abused 2 black men. Now, the National Transportation Safety Board is still investigating the site of the Key Bridge collapse in Baltimore. The NTSB chair provided an update during a Senate Commerce Committee hearing to reconfirm her appointment. She told the committee the preliminary report won't be available until May and that the probe is currently focused on why the cargo ship lost power before it collided with the bridge. In his opening statement, Senator Ted Cruz says the federal government should pay for the reconstruction of the bridge without any delays.
The bridge's reconstruction shouldn't be delayed another day or subjected to policy riders that raise costs to satisfy favored Democrat constituencies.
President Joe Biden has pledged his administration's full support to rebuild that bridge. Now, meanwhile, a group of Maryland civil rights organizations wants to rename the Baltimore's Francis Scott Key Bridge. Key, a former slave owner, once wrote that blacks are an inferior race of people. On Monday, one organization passed a resolution urging state lawmakers to rename the bridge, noting how taxpayer dollars are being used to rebuild the bridge and they should not, quote, subsidize racism. They want the bridge renamed after the late Farron Mitchell, the first black person to represent Maryland in the House of Representatives. They plan to present the resolution to Maryland lawmakers very soon. So here's your viewer poll this afternoon. You can scan that QR code right there on your screen to vote. The question is, do you think the Baltimore Bridge should be renamed? Yes or no? We want to hear your opinion on this. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part, and we're going to have an update later tonight at 6. The CDC says regular mammograms are the best way to detect breast cancer, but a new study reveals women are facing many barriers in getting that screening.
It's an important weapon in the war against breast cancer. Mammograms can help detect signs of the disease earlier when it's more easily treated. But a new CDC study reveals many women still find it difficult to get this recommended screening.
Those of us who have been working in this space have known that these barriers exist. We've known this for years.
The U.S. Preventive Services Task Force recommends mammograms every 2 years for women ages 50 to 74, but researchers say only about 66% of women in that age group get a mammogram if they have 3 or more health-related social needs. Those can include food insecurity, feeling socially isolated, lack of reliable transportation, lost employment, or a reduction in hours. The cost of accessing health care was the biggest barrier.
Institutions need to be aware that they have to ask about these social determinants of health. And if you ask, then you can have a plan in place to address the needs.
Electra Paskett, director of the Center for Cancer Health Equity at Ohio State's Comprehensive Cancer Center, says healthcare providers need to do barrier assessments in order to identify things like financial issues that may stop people from getting mammograms and find solutions to address them.
I'm a 3-time breast cancer survivor. My first cancer was diagnosed 27 years ago on a mammogram. It was extremely small, the size of my pinky, top of my pinky, and I'm still here. So mammography works.
For Health Minute, I'm Andy Gaither.
Here's a look at some of the top headlines you can find in the Cuero Record. The Miss Cuero pageant deadline is coming up, set for April 13th. Forms are accepted at Classy B's on Main Street in downtown Cuero. Plus, residents in Cuero are asking for a higher priority on road repairs. Read these stories and more at DeWittCountyToday.com. And now here's Mac.
Well, thank you very much. A stormy night last night, and not only over our area, but pretty much the entire state of Texas. But today it is all over with. That is long gone. It's going to be gorgeous the next couple of days. Current temperature is at 76 degrees. Nice cool wind came in with that storm system last night. We officially got up to 76 today, but we'll be back into the 80s for the rest of the week. We'll be talking about that weather and taking a look at some pretty interesting video coming up in just a moment. Well, there was a whole lot of huffing and puffing last night with the thunder and lightning that came through right at about 2 o'clock this morning. We had 7,700s out at Riverside Park, which was really nice. Raisin got almost an inch. Cuero got over an inch. El Campo got 2.5. And if you track the storms, they go into Houston. Tomball got 3.5 inches of rain. So that's why they had all that flooding. And remember, they got a lot more concrete than we do, and so it's just going to be on the roadways there. Got some video to show you of some people that were driving around last night, driving around in the storm, and then all of a sudden lightning hits a transformer right there, and that's when you see the green light. You see that bluish green light? We'll see it again. Then you know that the transformer popped, and then you know that somebody lost power there. So and you can see how it got dark all of a sudden, but that's kind of, you know, the lay of the game. And of course, we were telling people, not a good time to be driving around. If you can, stay home. And let me show you how good you had it. Let me show you. First of all, clearing skies, everything is pretty much gone. The storm center is over there in Arkansas right now. They're having problems in the southern Mississippi, but most of the stormy weather out of Texas is pretty much gone. This is the radar over 12 hours. You can see the stormy leftover stuff, but the real big stuff came through our area, then through Houston, Beaumont, and on into Louisiana. But let me show you how lucky you are. Now, okay, first this map. This map is future track. You can see the storm continues rolling away. What do we have here? Northwest winds. That's going to be low humidities, cool nights, and sunny, mild days. So we're looking pretty good for the next couple of days. As a matter of fact, we've got great weather through Friday, and Saturday is going to be great because it's our 200th birthday, right? And everybody's going to be downtown celebrating that. And here are the gusts that are happening right now. You can see it's pretty breezy out there, and that's why we do have red flag warnings in many counties to the south of our region. That's the sort of the only leftover problem of all of this stuff. Otherwise, we're going to be looking in real good condition through the next few days. Now, I'm going to go over there and push the button on the computer, so you just watch that for a second because all of a sudden, I think I pushed the wrong one. But let me show you how lucky you were. See this map? Every one of those circles is a report of local storm report, right? Look what happened over the crossroads. We missed them. Nobody, except for some gusty winds along the immediate coastline as the storms went offshore, probably 40, 50 mile an hour winds, the county was saved. Look at that. San Antonio, the hill country, got hammered with hail. Houston got hammered with flooding and hail. And of course, there's that one tornado that struck on, I believe that's about the Katy area. So pretty amazing. There's our storm. It's going away. Everything is going to be building up very nicely. And here's your day planner for tomorrow in Port Lavaca. Looking lots of sunshine, looking good with that northwest wind. In Cuero, couldn't ask for nicer weather. Getting up to about 80 degrees, but low humidities are always appreciated. And we'll take a look at your next 7 days. Lots of sun. It's Thursday, Friday. Very nice for the weekend. And it's not till next week that we start getting a little bit more humid with a little bit more cloud cover. That is your 7-day forecast. Reminding everybody we do have a QR code. Love for you to scan that. Put Crossroads Today on your phone. Here's Cuddy now.
Thank you, Mac. Coming up next on 25 News Now at 5, we're going to take a look at your stocks. Plus, Lunchables could possibly be removed from school lunch programs. The details in that new report next. Taking a look at your stocks, the Dow down 422 points, the S&P 500 down 49 points, and the Nasdaq down 136 points. Oil up 98 cents, closing at $86.21 per barrel. On Tuesday, Consumer Reports petitioned the U.S. Department of Agriculture, which oversees the National School Lunch Program, to keep Lunchables out of school cafeterias. A report found that the Lunchables served at schools were higher in sodium than those sold in actual stores, and that they contained harmful chemicals. The company issued a statement saying that they have taken the steps to improve the nutrition profile on these Lunchables, like adding fruit to the meal kits and reducing the sodium in the crackers. U.S. inflation grew stronger than what economists expected. You can read this story on our website, crossroadstoday.com. And stay with us. We're going to take one last look at your forecast. Plus, a mild winter causes a tulip festival to bloom earlier than usual in British Columbia. Plus, here's a look at world news tonight, right after 25 News Now at 5.
Tonight, the multiple tornado forecasts as damaging winds threaten millions. Plus, student debt relief for up to 30 million more Americans. Where President Biden's push stands, more Americans turn to World News Tonight with David Muir, the most watched newscast on television.
A flowery fantasy is unfolding in British Columbia. Lakeland Flowers is hosting its yearly Tulip Festival a little earlier than usual this year. The owner says the milder winter caused his red, white, yellow, and purple flowers to bloom sooner than expected. He says nearly 60,000 people came to his farm for the festival, which is expected to run through Mother's Day. But since the flowers bloomed early, they may not last as long. And you know, this is actually a problem that's happening in a lot of places. You warned us about this actually.
All over the world, as a matter of fact. As our summer comes in earlier, we're going to have early crops like this. And I mean, it's great to see them bloom and all that, but now you're thinking, ooh, little early, people are going to miss it. And the other thing is, you know, hopefully they got enough moisture up there in Canada, you know, to have that a good growing season. So you need the sun, you need some rain, you need some good soil, and things come up real nice.
So what about our weather? How's that coming up?
I thought we were very lucky last night. We had minimum of damage. We had a good solid inch of rain around the area. And now we've got some gorgeous weather right on through the weekend. Of course, it's a big weekend downtown because the new De Leon Plaza is going to be shown to the world as we begin our celebration of our 200th year. And I'm going to dress up like De Leon and come in and say hello, everybody.
Okay, I'll be looking forward to that. I need to post those pictures on Facebook. We got to see that. Well, thank you, Mac. And thank you for being with us. We hope to see you back here tonight for 25 News Now at 6. World News Tonight with David Muir is up next.